What's going on, YouTube? I am back with another video, and in this one we are going to be taking a look at all of the cards that I am sending to SGC. So I do run an SGC group submission, and this past weekend I did have a due date. So I'm getting ready to send off a big group submission, and I wanted to show you guys my personal cards that I am sending and just talk a little bit about my thought process as to sending these cards. People ask me all the time, is this card worth sending to PSA or should I send it to SGC? And I think people also just like to see what other people are sending because it does give them some ideas as well. I know I like watching, what other people are grading just to kind of get some ideas of cards that I may have or cards to look for. So that's what this one's going to be. Not a huge submission, but I do have around 10 to 12 cards, somewhere in there. So I'm going to show you guys those here in a second. And again, I do run an SGC group submission. So if you are interested in joining that in the future, definitely head over to 502frank.com. All the information you need is on the website. SGC, in the past, they really messed up, and they were talking a bunch of smack about PSA and Beckett not meeting their turnaround times, and then they got absolutely crushed. And honestly, I was to the point that I was never going to send them cards again. And then the PSA and Beckett and everybody shut down, and SGC was pretty much the only option. And I figured I'd give them another try, and they have more than redeemed themselves. I'm on my, I think, 7th or 8th group submission right now, and they're advertising 20 to 25 business day turnarounds. And so far, I don't think I've had one take over a month. So they have definitely more than redeemed themselves. You can send to SGC for a very cheap rate, around $30 per card. It's going to come back in a month to a month and a half, and it can definitely add some value. So I am a huge fan of SGC right now for some of the lower end cards. So again, if you're interested, head over to 502frank.com. All the information is there. Before we do get into this submission, I do also want to mention, if you have not subscribed to the channel, I would definitely appreciate that. We do have a big 20,000 subscriber giveaway going on. I will link that video in the description below. Definitely make sure you get on that, and you can have a chance to win some prizes like this Prism hanger box and a status hobby box. I will be giving both of those away on YouTube, and then we are also giving away some prizes on Instagram as well. So those are weekly giveaways. I do have 2 weeks left, and the last 2 prizes are a Mosaic Cello, which is this week right now. So definitely head over to Instagram, 502frank, find the week 4 giveaway, and make sure you follow the instructions to get in on this one. And then the final week, which will be next week, I'm giving away an optic cello. So some really good prizes going on right now. So definitely make sure you get in on those giveaways. And with all that out of the way, I think we do have a giveaway going on. I'm not exactly sure. If we do have a giveaway, I'm gonna go ahead and pause and do that. And if not, I'll be right back and we'll get into this submission. All right, guys, so we are ready for our giveaway in the last video. That was the Topps Merlin Chrome versus the Topps Chrome Champions League. So we do have that one pulled up and ready to go. So let's go ahead and get that link, and we will pull that over in Safari. There we go, and paste, filter duplicates, and let's get our comments. So 82 comments, so pretty decent shot at winning here. So let's go ahead and get that winner. And that is going to be Showtime. Nice rip. I'll take the Ramos. All right, man. Well, congrats on that. If that is you, make sure to send me a DM on Instagram or an email with your address. I'll get that shipped out. And now let's get back to our video. All right, guys, so now that the giveaway is out of the way, if we did have one, we are ready to go ahead and get into these cards that I am sending to SGC. So again, I did mention earlier, the price is around $30 per card. The turnaround is about a month to a month and a half. Now, I will say they are definitely getting some more cards. The turnaround is starting to slow down just a little bit. Some of my first submissions that I sent in were coming back in like 2 to 3 weeks. I would definitely not look for that right now. It's probably going to be anywhere from a month to a month and a half, like I said. So I think they're starting to get a lot more cards sent to them. So they're definitely slowing down just a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit about the thought process for the cards that I am sending. So basically, I am sending cards up to like the $500 raw value mark. So if you have, personally, if I have cards that I think are worth being graded or in good condition and they are worth $500 or less, raw, I would basically send them to SGC. If I have any high-end cards that are worth over $500 raw, I would probably either look at Express or Super Expressing them at PSA. So that's just my thought process. That's really, you know, the only two options for me personally at this point, other than basically the only case for sending to BGS, in my opinion, is a thick card. You know, the BGS cases are already super thick. So I have one here, super thick BGS case. I think BGS is the way to go for thicker cards, the RPAs, the patches. In my opinion, I think because it's already such a thick case, it doesn't really, you know, make it, I think it kind of looks ridiculous in a PSA holder, the thicker cards. So for thick cards, I would definitely go BGS. But other than that, it's either PSA or SGC. So basically 500 or less, I'm gonna send to SGC. 500 or over, I'm gonna probably send to PSA at Express or Super. So that's just my thought process. And now we'll go ahead and get into the cards. So up front, I think we have like 5 or 6 soccer cards. So this one is out of Merlin Chrome. And one thing that I have noticed from sending to SGC, I'm kind of gonna start getting away from the base cards. I was sending a lot of like Kamavinga, Topps Chrome base, and trying to think maybe like Pedri base. I'm definitely gonna start getting away from that. You can still make money, but you absolutely have to get 10s. And even, you know, say you send a Kamavinga Topps Chrome base card, that might sell for 50 or 60 bucks. Again, the cost is gonna be $30. It's really not worth the risk to make that $20. So I would definitely, you know, avoid sending base cards, send refractors, send numbered parallels, stuff that does have a little bit more value. So the first card up, I am sending the Simons Refractor out of Merlin. The tough thing about Merlin, a lot of these are a little bit off center. Very hard to find good centered Merlin cards. So I'm hoping these can still pull 9.5s. Again, if you're sending to SGC and they're gonna come back as 9s, honestly, probably not worth sending. If it comes back a 9, it's really not gonna help the value at all. 9.5 will probably help the value a little bit. Really, with SGC, you need to be getting 10s to really increase the value. So I'm hoping for a 9.5 here. I think, you know, a Simons Refractor, this being his only rookie card, hopefully that can still add some good value to that one. And then again, we do have a Pedri Refractor as well. Again, centering not perfect, but it is a refractor. I'm hoping if it does come back at 9.5, it will still add some decent value. And then a Kamavinga Refractor. This one actually looks pretty good. I think this one might have a shot at a 10. Centering looks pretty solid on these, or on that one at least. And then we do have a Doku. Again, send the refractor, send the numbered parallels. So this one is a Doku, again out of Merlin. This is to 299. Not perfect, but I definitely think, since with this being a numbered card, and you know, if it does come back at 9.5, I do think this will definitely add some value. His stuff is very hot right now. So next up, you guys actually haven't seen this one. I did rip this one off camera the other day. So my wife and I picked up some Merlin Chrome blasters, and this one actually came out of my blaster. Surprisingly, she did not rip this, but a Bellingham, and this one is numbered to 175. And this is super weird because this parallel is actually not on the checklist. I have no idea what this is, because when I was entering it in on the SGC website, you know, you're supposed to enter in what parallel or you know, what the card is called. So I went to the checklist for Merlin Chrome, and there is no parallel on the checklist number to 175, and unless, you know, I just completely missed it. So I just put in, I think I put in like Aqua Speckle or something like that. But this did come out of a blaster, and I could not find this parallel on the checklist, so not sure what it's called. We'll see what it comes back labeled as. But the centering on this one is actually really nice. So the refractors, I'm probably gonna look at selling. Hopefully, you know, again, they come back 9.5s or 10s. These are gonna be flips. These numbered parallels, I plan on keeping for the long term, especially with the World Cup coming up. I think, you know, the low numbered soccer guys are definitely a hold. See what happens in the World Cup. And then next up, out of the national pack, probably my favorite card I pulled was the Pulisic to 50. I did actually pull an Ansu Fati patch card to 10 and sold that one on eBay for 200. So these national cards are actually selling pretty well right now. But this one looked to be in pretty good shape, so we'll see what happens. Christian Pulisic from the national pack out of 50. And then This one looked to be in pretty good shape, you know, pretty good centering. These are always just really tough to tell with the corners and edges on these die cuts. So we got a Denny Abdija maroon die cut to 175. Figured the value's not crazy on it, but if I can send it to SGC, comes back a 10, that's definitely gonna add some value. So we'll see what happens on that one. And then I'll show these next two at the same time. If you guys saw the national videos, you guys saw I did rip a Court Kings blaster, and both of these came out of the same blaster, which was pretty crazy. So Wiseman and LaMelo Ball acetate, and typically these acetate cards are very, very hard to grade. This clear surface shows, you know, just every little imperfection, picks up lint very easy, or dust, or whatever you want to call it. So these are very, very tough grades. But these actually look to be in really good shape. So I'm hoping these can pull 10s, because on these cards, like the acetate cards that are super hard to grade, if you can pull 10s, it can really, really help the value. So that would be amazing if one or both of those could get 10s. So we have the Wiseman and the LaMelo, and then we have another LaMelo. So surprisingly, this one checked out, because I did look at a decent amount of select cards to send to SGC, and there's all kinds of issues on the surface. So surprisingly, this one did look pretty good. I would honestly be surprised if it did get a 10, but I would definitely still take a 9.5. So this is the Select Future insert out of Select LaMelo Ball. This one did come out of my hobby box. So, you know, probably be one of the first Select graded cards out there of LaMelo. So hopefully it gets a 10. You know, even a 9.5, I definitely still think it'll have some good value, being one of the first select LaMelo cards. And then next up, we're going to go ahead and send a Cole Anthony. This one is out of Revolution T-Mall, or Asia. You see the Asia up there. I do think Cole Anthony's going to have a lot of hype coming into his sophomore season. I think he was kind of slept on his rookie year, and he just has a ton of potential. I remember him at North Carolina just being an absolute baller. So I'm definitely still high on Cole Anthony. And then last up, we are going to send in a Jacob Eason. This one came from a Select T-Mall box that I did rip off camera. Pulled a Jacob Eason. These are the Dragon Scale, number to 67. And it's looking like he's probably going to be the starter right now for the Colts. So we'll see what happens. I figured it would be smart to go ahead and send this one in and get it graded. Now, these are probably going to be pretty tough grades as well, because the Dragon Scale does really show like the print line. So not really sure what to expect on this one, but figured, again, it'd be smart to go ahead and get an Eason card graded. So we'll see what happens there. But that is going to do it for my submission. I think about 12 cards there. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I know, again, I like seeing what other people are sending, because it does give me ideas on what to send. So hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Let me know what your favorite card from the submission was. I would definitely love to know. So again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.